So, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm German. I grew up in Germany. And the Germans, they have this funny accent. Who speaks a second language in here? Can you raise your hand? Oh, super. Who understands German? Oh, over there. I wanna acknowledge all the people over there in the corner that I met today in person for the first time after working with them for several years on my team. So thank you for coming out. So, as a German with a German accent, sometimes it's really tricky to get your point across. And it's also difficult to understand the Americans. Like there was this boat captain, the boat got into trouble, and the captain sent out this message in emergency. Major, we have a problem. We are sinking. Hello, here is the German Coast Guard. What are you thinking about? So, accent is not the only issue in my communication since I live here in the US. It's also how you translate the words and how do people understand those words. When I got here, I needed people to trust me. So I kept telling them, don't worry, I don't have any dead bodies in the basement. And he looked at me. It took me years to figure out that I meant I don't have any skeletons in the closet. Didn't translate, wait. So my team always gets on me because I kept saying in a team meeting, let's not talk about these unlaid eggs. And he's like, do you mean don't count your chickens before they hatch? I'm like, yeah, that one. But the Germans don't worry about the chickens, they worry about the eggs. German approach, don't fuck up early. So, I actually grew up in East Germany, behind the Iron Curtain. Everybody heard about the Berlin Wall, remember those videos? Well, East Germany was actually really safe as a teenager. You know why I was safe? Because everybody was spying on everybody. We had a German government agency, just like the CIA, that was called the Stasi. And they recruited regular people, well, mostly they blackmailed them, to snitch on the neighbors, on everybody. So you had to be very cautious on who you can trust. Because it could be your coworker, could be your grandmother, it could be your lover. Sometimes you didn't really want to cheat on your spouse because they would find out before you have your clothes back on. So, despite everything being very safe and socialism, providing for everybody, like food, like milk, butter, Coke. No, they didn't have Coke. We had soda, one flavor. And they also provided cigarettes, and you could buy coffee and stuff, but none of the luxurious goods, right? If you wanted to have something that was more than just the basics, it only got in store twice a year, and you had to get lucky to be at the store when they had it, and you would immediately see when they had something because there was a massive line. So I think that's why I relate to New York so much. There's lines everywhere. It brings me back to my childhood. I was like, what's up, New Yorkers? They are not in line, they're online, I heard. So the barter system was actually taking it to a whole new level. Back in East Germany, the internet wasn't a thing yet, you know. We didn't even have landlines. So you had to actually communicate with people, like one-on-one, and find out what you need, what you have, what I have, what these other 10 people have, and how to make this ring trade to get what you needed. I think this whole thing really set me up for my social entrepreneurship now. I mean, originally, I started out back in East Germany, then I went to Wall Street, then I started my social entrepreneurship. Now I figure out American families need childcare. Because I needed childcare back then. But American childcare, when you are a parent, we've already established that earlier, who has kids? When you need childcare yesterday. Because you're like, oh my God, I need help. And the Germans that we know, that are early childhood educators, great people, they want to come and they plan for next year. So now how do we bring together the American families who need somebody yesterday and the Germans who want to come next year? So all of these, who needs what when, who has something to offer. I bring this all together with an amazing team, and thank you, you guys, for helping doing this, so they know what I'm talking about, painful it is to bring this all together. But it's just like in East Germany. You know, social entrepreneurship is just like in East Germany. You had to figure out who needs what, when, and how to get them that. And then everybody is happy. Relationships are most important. It doesn't matter if you have internet or not. If you don't have relationships, you're screwed. First lesson in East Germany, relationships are key, your most important asset. So forget about Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins. Go live in the DDR for a while, and the possibilities will be limitless. Entrepreneurship is really, to the core, I think, implemented because I grew up in East Germany. So when I was 16, about 3 weeks before graduating from 10th grade, my plan was to go to high school and then to college. My teacher came to me and said, Susan, we figured out your dad went to college. I'm like, yeah? Well, that means you cannot go to college. I'm like, what do you mean? In East Germany, only one person per family could go to college, and my dad already had used up the ticket. Here in the US, that's the only way you can go to college, if your dad went there. I'm like, wait a minute. So 3 weeks to pivot. What am I gonna do now in my life? As a 16-year-old, that's pretty traumatic. So they made me a bricklayer. So I went bricklaying. And I did love bricklaying, because at the end of the day, you see the fruit of your labor. Your hands hurt, but the wall is there. The house is done. The roof is a little crooked. You see what you do. Nowadays, people work remote. You don't even know what they're working on. They're scrolling on their phones, on TikToks. Half days, thousands of videos. If you want to go back and watch one of those videos again, never find it ever. I went back to East Germany with my kids last summer, and my houses are there. Roof's still crooked, but I could show off what I did when I was back then. So that was a big accomplishment. So when I turned 18, there was this very special day, November 9th, 1989. I came home from construction site on my motorcycle. I rode down the street from in front of my house. My friend came walking, running towards me, and said, Susan, the wall came down. I said, no. Yes, the wall came down. I said, I don't believe you. Let's check it out. He hopped on my motorcycle. We rode all the way to West Germany, which was an hour and a half on my 150cc. Through the zip lines, barricades were down, crossing the border. And on the other side, the first city on the other side where I lived there was the little city called Nyla. We parked the motorcycle, walked around, big eyes. Oh my God. It was already like 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and we see a line. Good East Germans, we get in that line, right? And there are all these people in front of us, long line, like a mile long, and we're asking them, what do they have? And they said, we don't know. I'm like, okay, that's normal for East German. We stand in lines no matter what, because you never know. So we get in front of that line, a couple hours later, it's dark, it's freezing, and they're handing out 100 Deutschmark welcome money, hard money. I've never seen 100 Deutschmarks before in my life. The exchange rate at the time in the black market was like a 1 to 10. That was like $1,000 in my East German aluminum money. I felt, we're rich. What I want to do with my first hard money. I knew what I wanted, because I was sneaking West German TV at my friend's house. I saw R.G. Jennings sipping Coca-Cola. I wanted a Coca-Cola. So I'm like, where do I get a Coca-Cola at 7 o'clock at night? Because even in West Germany, the shops close at 6. We're like, we need to go to the bar. We went in the bar, ordered a Coca-Cola, and the bartender brings me that 1 can of Coca-Cola, puts it down, and a glass with the bill. I look at that bill, and I'm like, 5 Deutschmark for a Coca-Cola? In East Germany, we had soda, 1 flavor, one size. It called Vita Cola, and it was black, same thing, and it cost 50 cents. So with the exchange rate and at 10x, that's 1,000 times more than my East German drink. Do I really want to spend that much money on a Coca-Cola? Absolutely. Learned my first lesson in capitalism. Branding sells, even if you live behind the Iron Curtain. The customer will pay whatever you charge them if they feel like it's worth it to them. So I paid my 5 Deutschmark and I had my first sip of Coca-Cola, and it tasted like freedom. To the day, I still love Coca-Cola. I drink it now with a little vodka. It's called Cuba Libre. And I think I'm gonna have one right now. Have a wonderful night, New York, and I see you at the bar.